If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on all listening platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go ahead, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
What's going on, world? This is Isaiah from Making It Make Sense with Isaiah, Theo, and Vincent. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube page at Making It Make Sense, ITV, and listen to new episodes every Friday, and maybe slide into our DMs on Instagram. Or actually, just leave us a comment at Making It Make Sense, ITV. Stay conscious and stay lit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Making It Make Sense with Isaiah, Theo, and yours truly, Vincent. So, I want to talk about some stuff on today's episode, and that's really the fuckery that goes around in the workplace for being gay. I don't know if y'all experience that shit, but I have. Yeah, I got some shit to say.
Oh, I think we all do. Okay.
Unfortunately. I didn't know you guys were gay, but I'm here just to listen.
Wow.
I'm here to be a co-conspirator.
This is my coming. Oh, not coming out. I know you don't like that shit. This is my coming in. This is my I have arrived.
That's my I've been here, motherfuckers. Get into
it. He's like, I've already arrived.
Well, I say have you experienced some, let's say, fuckery in the workplace for being gay? Let's call for that, because there's so much fuckery that goes on in the workplace.
I mean, so I guess I'd really have to go. God, I'd have to go all the way back, but
yeah, you haven't worked for that long.
Okay, that's cute. That's adorable.
Okay.
So but no. So I gotta say, I think and actually I was speaking to a group of kids back in December.
I remember that.
Really just amazing. Like
in the Bronx, right?
Yeah. And with this fantastic teacher who's a friend of mine. I don't.
You want to shout her out or no?
I'm not gonna call her business, but it was just she is amazing. You know who you are. And I can't wait to get to do it again at some point. It was fantastic. But I had this exact question asked to me because some of them were a bit concerned about what they're going to, as queer, queer people, what they're going to experience, in the workplace, which I think was a valid question, depending on especially your the industry and whatnot, and what spaces you work in. So I told them this. I said, or a specific child that asked, and I said this. I said, not to my knowledge have I ever been directly in my face discriminated against in that manner. So I wouldn't, and if I have, as far as my resume, my application, or discussions involving me, otherwise, I wouldn't know that. There was one incident, as I was just speaking about this, though, that comes to mind, and I'm a bit hesitant, but I'm gonna, in the spirit of the fact that we are all very transparent here, and this is a safe space, I'm gonna tell it. So,
yes.
Do it. So the thing is, it wasn't directed at me at all, and I want to start with that. And I'm not defending it, but I want to start with that. It wasn't directed at me, and actually a very close friend of mine now mentioned, she got very, 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 very upset about that. So a colleague was speaking with with another colleague, and I overheard it, and I just went, oh, like, whoa. And basically the colleague was describing a situation, and they were making a joke between one another, and one of them says, oh, well, that's gay. That's gay. That's gay. And when I tell you, I just went like I was typing, and you guys can't see this right now, but it's like somebody just kept hitting me with a BB gun, and I was like, oh,
every time, gay.
Every time, yeah. And I was like, oh, no. But not so much for me. It was more for the fact that other people were going to hear and perceive it.
But then automatically think that you're going to burst into tears.
Well, for exactly that. So first okay, where is the queer man in this room or queer person? Oh, there he is. Oh my God, what is, and just people start looking at you as if
what's he gonna do? He's about to bust a cap.
Right, like, are you going to react to this? Right. And then also on top of that, just because I knew that, they're colleagues, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna be great for you. So I'm like, oh no. Less worried about myself and more like, oh no, I don't think this is gonna turn correctly for you.
Again, you are too kind.
So, but just because I like to really there are some situations I like to really think about it, and I'm not going to use the word objective, but spherically.
Work is one of them, because I get that, right. Because it's like you can't be popping off at work when you have bills to pay.
Specifically,
you could, but you better have some other shit lined up before you do.
Right.
I've always been like that when it comes to work.
So another friend I'd like to shout out that I absolutely adore with all my heart is the friend, because she is not just a colleague. I mean, like I'd like genuinely trust her. She got angry, like livid. Like when I say it was like on and popping, like had to leave the room, and she checked.
Gotta love the allies though.
Did she get angry? Did she get angry for you?
For me, overall, it was more a collective thing for her, because she is a when I say co-conspirator in every sense of the word. And so it was like that. Like, it was like, I'm angry for you, but I'm angry for us, for this, for the community. Like,
shout out to Annie. She sounds like an Annie.
Oh no, listen, Annie is actually, and I hope she doesn't mind. I love you, girl. Mahadia, my girl. Like, she popped off. But anyway, but I digress. It was just
shout out to Mahadia.
Shout out to her. All day, every day, because she is a co-conspirator all day, every day. And just really, like, she herself is not queer, but queer family, like, honestly. So anyway, it was like a really it was uncomfortable, because people were like, oh my, and then the colleagues said, apologize to me, and I'm so sorry, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I really was I'm like, I don't want to receive that. I just want to speak to my friend and make sure she is okay. But I don't really want to receive that, because to me, it's kind of like, and not that it wasn't genuine, because again, I like knew these people, so I can, in that sense, like, speak on behalf of that. But also, like, I really, you don't have to say sorry to me. Like, you should really just do the work to remove that from your vocabulary.
But that's the fuckery, though. You were busy over there typing your life away.
There should be a level of professionalism that, like, it doesn't matter at all, because you don't know who's around, who's listening. Like, period. That should not. You shouldn't be period.
You're not at home,
right? At home,
but especially at work, like. Keep your shit together, like, because I can say a lot of shit.
Right, and there's stuff, and again, don't get me wrong. Like, I think I think this is a good and bad thing. There's a level of comfort when you're around people that you've been, with, and sharing space
like a work family,
for a long time. Your work family, right? And then there's a level of comfort where it's like, okay, wait a minute.
But we ain't family.
Oh, we're not. Yeah, right. There's like stuff right. Like, and there's some people where it's like, they're your work family, and they turn into like, you're like my girl Mahadia. Sorry, said your name twice, girl. Like, work family, where it's like, okay, we can, like, really talk.
Yeah.
Like, there's other people where it's like, oh yeah, we're work fam, and it's like, okay, like that's
Boundary.
Yeah.
right.
We ain't like
But
that.
that's, I mean, really, that's the main thing that comes to mind. I can't think of, quite honestly, for me and my experience, other than that springs to mind. And again, I'm not saying.
What about? I'm sure, like, and you probably don't even realize it, but like that whole, oh, this is my work husband bullshit.
Right. That's
You're not calling Johnny over there your work
that
husband.
could
You want
be
to
a
know why he's
thing
fucking straight,
too.
like,
And so
and it's fine, but it's like little shit like that,
right.
That's
And
my work husband. What?
there's things that there's definitely things where it's like, I'm sure there are things that have transpired in conversations that were had, when you're not sitting right there, right? Which,
Of course, but those are the
another
things
thing
that you can't control. The
that
ones
you can't control, exactly.
Yeah.
But as far as me having experienced it myself, I have to say, other than that, directly, I've really had a very charmed experience in that sense, I have to say.
I've
What
always,
about you, Theo?
there's two things.
Mm-hmm.
I've encountered a lot of fuckery, and I've worked in a lot of spaces that have been the commercial, the propaganda is this is a LGBTQ plus safe space, a friendly space. I do not like the term when you're with people and be like, oh, well, you're like my brother. I'll be like, bitch, I'm trying to get rid of my own brothers. Why
Oh, you know what? I have a gay friend, or I have a gay, like, you
Oh,
have to be perfect.
It's like,
don't get me started on that.
Oh, I have a black. When I hear that, it resonates. Like, I have a black friend,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, we're not friends like that. And I hate people giving themselves titles in my life without consulting me.
We ain't friends, Theo.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, don't call yourself my work husband.
Yeah.
I know.
Did we come up, like, don't do that. Don't give your title as my mother. Expect, don't like, oh, she's I'm like your work mother. Like, no, bitch, my mother's name Maria. Like, relax. And like, I don't like also when people find out that you're gay or you're queer, they all of a sudden get a gay accent.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Actually, now, Theo, opened up a can of worms.
That's a whole can of fucking worms in itself.
Yeah.
The other day,
I used to go through all my, like,
for example, like the other day I went to Starbucks. Was it Starbucks? I forgot where it was. And then the girl was flirting with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, sorry, I'm gay. And then all of a sudden she was like, oh yes, this thing. I was like, ooh, I'm not that gay, relax. And I said, don't talk to me.
And if you were, that'd still be okay, but just automatic perception of it is
but
not,
where it was coming from was homophobic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was stemming from was homophobia, and I cut it down, and I try to like use some humor. So, oh, I'm not that gay. And then she was like, oh, and I said, please don't talk to me like that. Speak to me in the manner in which I'm speaking to you. Now, if I came here and I spoke to you, yes, Miss Thing, or whatever, whatever, on gay colloquialism, folks use.
Then you could,
But she came and spoke to me that way the minute I told her that I was gay.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get that in the workplace as well. When people find out that you're gay, they're no longer speaking to you in regular English or standard English. I don't want to say normal. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they want to speak to you. They go, yes, queen. Oh, okay, girl. Okay, Miss Thing. And like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you talking to me like that? Even when people put on a black scent. I find that just as derogatory and just as fucked up. And once again, stop with the bullshit. Stop with the fuckery. Once again, let's give each other permission. If Vincent, if I give Vincent the permission to tell me, hey, yes, queen, and we have that rapport, then that's great. But some people love to cross.
And don't think just because you hear like Theo talking like that to somebody else, like that gives you the right to then talk to Theo like that. Like that's a different relationship and like communication that they have with the other person. So that's a lot to be happy in the workplace. Like, so you got to sit on it. I do have my work wives, like my job, love them. Like, you guys are listening right now. I love you. I ain't talking about you. I'm just saying in general.
Okay, and there's people, and you guys are right. There's people like I can even say it. Like I'm gonna say it now. There's definitely like certain friendships that I've developed at work where we can speak in a very candid way, and I feel very good about it. And also because, you know, it's just like I don't know how to totally explain it, but we see each other, like we understand each other, we get each other, so it's a little, it's different.
But it's the workplace also.
Permission. It is.
In the workplace, we have to give each other consent.
Yeah.
Because in the workplace, there's EEO, and you can get sued and you can get fired. You can get, you can be like expelled completely from a whole industry.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, some things got skewed in perspective and all this stuff.
Or get pulled into some shit. It's really selfish because it's like that goes down and you're in that same vicinity.
Yeah, hello.
And so you're in a position of leadership and you don't
it's different at
that's
work.
your job too. Like,
because if I perceive you being homophobic at work, and I am a Black queer man, and I are a transphobic or misogynist or sexual harassment at work, it has different implications than it does in the real world. There's behavior and lingo that I can get away with in a social setting that I cannot get away with in a work setting, period. And it's everything with consent. Not even cursing at me at work. Don't play your fucking self. Mind you, look, I love me a good curse word. But there's some people at work that I'm not the most.
I don't curse at work.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
There's like 2 people at work that know that I curse. Everybody else does not know that I curse. Yeah. And if you come to me and you curse, I'll be like, you know, in my mind, I'll be like, what the fuck is your problem? Yeah. Because once again, we are at work. Yeah. And some people perceive, you know, cursing can cause some people to think it's a hostile work environment. If I curse at one of my nurses, or if I curse at the nurse assistant or the secretary, it can come off in a different way than it does like in the real world. If I bump into an old woman, I can say like, "What the fuck is your problem, you old bitch?" But in the real like, you know, I can get away with that in the real world, but in my professional world, I cannot.
Absolutely. And that's that part exactly. There are things that are not like, I don't swear at work. I mean, like, I'll even kind of like, I will cover up words, like, or not words, rather, perfect example. I don't always say, I will slip every now and then and say LMAO, but what I really try to stick with is LMBO. Just
my butt off, not my ass.
I try to lean into that because I'm like, okay, even though it is an abbreviation, I'm still saying ass, you know, like, you know, so I try to, or I'll just stick with if I really want to say LMAO and I forget to say LMBO, or I'm afraid of doing that, I'll say LOL, because that's the, you know, because it's like, it's funny, but I really want to say LMAO because it's fucking hilarious, but I can't say that. Yeah. So, you know, you just little boundaries. You can haha, you know, with little things. And again, it depends on with the colleague, and it's still a professional environment. So, you know, depending on that colleague and stuff, there's certain, I mean, in this space and previous spaces I've, you know, professionally existed in, there's always like, you know, your people. So, you know, someone will, oh my God, so-and-so is pissing me the fuck off, you know, and like, they can say that to you and you can just go, oh my God, I know so-and-so is such a, you know, or something like that. But outwardly, you don't say that. Like, that's just kind of, and I think that's also just like,
it's okay to vent at work, but like, you do off to the side. You have that 1 or 2 like people at your job that, like, you know, you can trust in both outside of work. It's like even when you guys leave work, you guys are still fucking with each other, like, you know, still talking, still chatting, like
all within reason.
All within reason, exactly.
So it's like that's okay to be comfortable with them, but like, you know, the other person that's just like a acquaintance at work, like, you know, there's people that just walk up, start cursing, like. So
And then Vincent, what about you?
I have a whole fucking truckload of shit. I don't even know where the fucking start.
Start right at the genesis.
Well, all right. So for example, one of these times, like, you know, the thing is, I usually go, I don't know what the right fucking term for it is, but like straight passing or whatever it may be at my job. A lot of people don't know, like, even realize I'm gay. It's not because I hide it. I'm not ashamed of being gay at all, but I'm also not walking, holding rainbows and skipping and stuff like that.
You're not sashaying, Shantaeing.
Or straddling
I've had a rainbow
a
on my
fucking
desk before,
unicorn.
but I'm
You're not sashaying, Shantaeing down the hall.
Yeah, I'm not sashaying away. Oh my god, yeah. So when I did people finally started finding out and stuff like that, it was fine, but until I started getting certain tasks, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, hey Vincent, like you're essentially I'm like a supervisor at one location or place, or was, and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, we have this really irate, over the top fucking caller, and he's about to sue. Like he's trying to sue us. He's saying that like he's saying that like we don't like gay people. And I looked at my manager, like, why the fuck are you bringing it to me then?
Stop throwing your
Minus the fuck part. I was like, and how are you handling this? He's like,
can homo handle this
stopping? And I'm like, oh, and luckily I love that man. Like that manager was actually a really good person, really cool. And that I was like, give me the fucking call. Like, just give it to me. Like that person that I could curse with. I don't know, just between us. But I'm like, yeah, why the fuck you bring it to me? That ain't right. Like,
yeah, you gotta throw him right in the line of rewriting the line of fire. What?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, get on the call. Dudes come at me. You guys take it. I was like, no, we don't. You guys take. And then I just started letting it slip a little bit. No, we don't. Got off that call within 3 minutes. Like, no, that's not true. Like, that's no. Like, turn that shit around real quick though. Got off the call. Got back to my other shit that I was doing. So
you gotta turn on the
that's just also because there's little shit like that be happening. Like, why am I getting tasked with this? Like, why is this
going
on me when everyone should be capable of handling the situation regardless? But I see you guys. So fucking then, so that, probably like a year. I'm not even gonna put a timeline on it, but that far long ago. But so I also had a ton of agents, and people people reporting to me and so forth. So like you obviously build relationships with the people that report to you and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I care a lot about all my peers, all my coworkers, and so forth. But I've always made sure to make everything is always professional.
Maintain it.
Like I can show that I'm like passionate and caring about somebody by like having their back. Like when it comes to like they're going through their personal hard stuff, making sure their job's cut, like all that stuff like that got you. And there's always that level of respect. So like I never actually had a full on like sexual harassment situation in the workforce where I've actually felt like, damn, I got sexually harassed. So during one of these times, stuff like that, I was touching base with, one of my people. I was like, hey, like, just making sure you're okay. They're on leave for like, a little bit, but then they weren't on leave. They're just like, that's on a normal leave of some shit like that. So I'm like, they end up getting back to me like a few days later on. I was like, oh, thanks. I'm actually just like stepping out, like I'm not in the office today, but I'll call you when I get back in and stuff like that, because for the most part I generally like to do it on my work phone, on my desk phone. But my people always had my number to get in touch with me. So nonetheless, so all of a sudden they're like, what's wrong, what's going on? I was like, no, I just had a really bad day. And I was actually just coming off of a panic attack. So I was just like, I calmed down. I was like, chilled out. Like, I just went and had an appointment with my therapist. And everything's like, okay. I didn't go into so much details, but I was like, I was just like, I had a doctor's visit. I'm not feeling too well. And then also I was like, oh, like, what's wrong, baby? I'm like, hold up. And I didn't even say anything. I was like,
wait, what's wrong, baby?
Yeah, what's wrong? I was like, and then followed by I can help you feel better. And I was like, still take it back. Like, I was like,
oh
this
no!
All within seconds of each other, and then comes all these unsolicited news right off the bat, and I'm like,
oh, this just descended into
another panic attack, and I'm like freaking out because at first I didn't know how to do. Like I was already like anxiety high. It's just coming out of that like a whole situation like that, not like that, but like a whole panic attack and such and so forth. And so then at first I'm like, this is highly inappropriate as I am your boss, number one. And then number two, and I don't know why I felt the need to say it, but I was like, also, I am a gay man. Like, and number three, I'm also like, happy in a relationship and stuff like that. So, some order of that, starting off with one or whatever. So I was so nervous. I was like, you know what? So, and she's like, oh, I had no idea. I was like, yeah, like, however, like, this is still really inappropriate. Go ahead and, like, you know, I'm gonna delete these pictures and try to pretend like this never happened, and, you know, hopefully, you know, move forward and stuff like that. Don't ever, like, be inappropriate like this again. And then after, like, you know, 10, 15 minutes, I sat there. I was like, yo, I can't. I was like, because if she turns around and tries to say some shit, like, and I didn't report it, that's my job, that's my career. And I was like, and I felt horrible because it was so unsolicited out of nowhere. Like, and I would have, you know, be developing her and stuff like that throughout the year, having meetings with her. Not once did she ever come on to me. Not once did she ever indicate anything like that. So, she's, you know, also a single mom of 2 kids. So I felt part of me.
Oh, she wanted a new daddy for her kids. She wanted a new daddy for her kids.
That's what she was trying to do, and I was like, "Who's my?" I was not that paycheck. I was not that meal ticket. And then I felt horrible thinking about it. I was like, "Yo, she's about to fucking lose her job now." And I know that she's a single mom that has been working with 2 kids, and I know she hasn't been working. I'm her boss, and she hasn't been to work in like fucking 2 months. So I was like, "Yo, she's about to lose."
You were about to lose your
job. I was just gonna say that. But why is that your burden? Like, once again, this is the bullshit.
That's true.
And like you said, being quote unquote passable, you sometimes hear some shit and hear some evil and you see some evil because they don't know that you are the persons that they're talking about. I have heard some people refer to a feminine acting, a feminine queer person. Oh, that fucking faggot.
Yes.
And I'm like,
it doesn't work like a camouflage, like you said, because I'll be sitting there, I'll hear some shit, I'm like, oh, now I got you fucking pegged.
And now, exactly.
Like you just showed your
then I go over to my comrade and let my comrade know.
Wait to tell HR.
These motherfuckers don't fuck with us.
And you're not going to even know it's me.
Yes, and I'd be quick to go file a complaint to EEO. But I make sure I let my comrade know, hey, these motherfuckers just called you a faggot. They don't fuck with us here. So don't worry, I got you. Because once again, that's what we got to do. We got to look out for each other. Absolutely. And sometimes when you are passing and among straight spaces, you witness the homophobia even more. You witness it. And if some people don't say nothing and just play along to get along, but
that's the other
not
thing.
Me. Not me.
I get that struggle. Like, it's understandable, and it's not me, but like, you know, I even dated someone where, you know, they had no idea that he was gay. Like, because at his job, it was very misogynistic. It was very, like, and not to shit on Republicans, like, because I actually have Republicans in my family. I actually know some really cool Republicans.
These sorry to hear.
Republicans. I'm not even trying to be like political. These are the hardcore Republicans.
I thought you were about to say, and I am a Republican.
Nah.
I was like, let's end this call, right? Let's end this podcast.
But I ain't no
Democrat. Like Victor.
I said, Victor.
I ain't Democrat either, though. But like, for example, at his job, like, it was known, like, the guys that happened to be gay, they would either eventually slowly be pushed out. They would be denied like promotional opportunities over clearly other people, like people that they were highly qualified over. But so he learned to really go in a role where he, again, is like also quote unquote straight passing, where he rolled with it. And, you know, you think that'd be weird in relationships and stuff like that, where I was just like, I get it. I don't know what you're going to tell them if we end up getting married one day. But, like, hopefully by then you'll be like, you know, running that entire place, so it won't matter, and you can make some changes.
I think it also depends on your position or where you, and, you know, there's a hierarchy. I've never been, because, you know, I'm straight passing or passable, whatever the term is, and I've always, I love, once again, I don't want to be digestible. I want to choke you. I've always in conversation.
Okay,
I love that.
I want I've been in conversation. Oh, you, that fucking gay ass client, man, or that fucking faggot client, coworker, and I'll be like, oh wow, and then through conversation, I'll be like, you know, yeah, me and my boyfriend. And what, you and your boyfriend? What?
It's like,
got him. And then they think about
and then
all
I
the shit
give
they said
them
in
the
front
eye.
of you.
Correct. And then, but I always feel the need. I feel offended when people think that I am not queer.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't
feel offended.
blame them, but
I feel offended because I worked really hard, and
that being gay.
Wow.
You know what? No, I worked really hard to accept who I am, mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
And when they do that, because once again, you assuming that I am straight is their own homophobia.
Yeah.
And they're projecting their homophobic ideals on me. Because we live in 2020 and we should understand that gay people.
But it depends. Like if it's in the workplace, it's hard because also I'm not super personal in the workplace with
there
people.
We go. Me either.
Like, so I don't. That's why I don't blame some people because they don't know because you're not close enough. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, I went and did this with my boyfriend or like that because I don't talk to you on that level about my at life home.
But don't assume is the thing that bothers me, that they assume.
Yeah.
So, and their assumptions is based on homophobia.
So
because you don't act or look gay or talk gay or dress gay.
100%. I'm a little more, so I will say this, pretty much in every workspace I've ever, now I'm obviously not as passable as you guys, or what have you, but
you want until you flip your hair.
Okay. what? Vincent, go away. So that's Victor. But anyway, no, I'm obviously not as passable, but at the same time, I mean, I guess if I didn't really say much, but that doesn't normally happen. But in every space pretty much that I've occupied professionally, I've been out. So I've never really had to and I also have never really felt like I've had to not be at my in my previous I'd like to say in my previous life, but when I was in the travel industry at the company that I worked for at that time, it was like literally they threw my husband and I like a work shower, like because we were getting married like the following week. Like it was really, really lovely. So even coming into into where I work currently, the only place I think there was one place where I really didn't, I don't know, I wasn't too like open about it. Like if you asked me, I'd say, yeah, this is my, I have a spouse, you know what I mean? Like he is a male. But I don't know. I've never felt, and especially, I'll say this, especially since I've gotten married and I've been with I think Sean and I, or my husband Sean and I, have been together for this summer. It'll be 9 years together, and then in April it'll be 3 years married. And I'm really going on what, like, adding on to what Theo was saying, like I'm so proud of not just of my marriage, but I'm so proud of my husband and my queerness. And it took me so long to get there. And I also remember being in a space where I like, not only did I not have a desire to be with anyone long term or anything like that, or I thought, okay, well, I may just not get married, like that kind of thing. And because it wasn't an available option to me, like at a certain period of time too. And so now, I mean, not like I run into spaces and I'm just like, hi, would you like a rainbow flag? Like, like I don't do that, but I'm just very general about it. Like I'm, tell me something.
Well, yeah, if someone asks you, you don't,
yeah. Or even if it's so much as if someone
don't even ask me. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I don't see you fuckers asking each other, hey, are you straight?
Are you right?
Yeah, that's not a work conversation to begin with.
I said, do not ask me some stupid homophobic dick sucking shit. Get out of my face.
And not asking.
I'm sorry.
Like you're fine. Not asking that specifically, but like if they, you go into a space and say, hey, do you want to share some things about yourself? And one of the things I'll say is, I'm married. And I've been with my husband for X amount of time, that kind of thing.
Are you talking about those like group thing? Like we do a is it groundbreaker?
Yeah, like or icebreaker.
Icebreaker. Excuse me, I haven't done those.
I'll do that, and because also I want.
I'll be vague. I'll be like I'm black.
I get like Theo on that shit.
I don't. The only reason I don't vague it up too much is because this is why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. I feel like the same way that people casually will, heterosexual or straight people or cisgender people will specifically just in passing speak about their kids and their wives or their husbands. I don't feel like it should be any different for me if it's something that makes me happy and that I'm happy about. So why can I not say that I'm married to Sean, who is a man? I won't say who is a man, but I'll say me. I'll use it right. Imagine if I said, but if I'll
he is a man.
He's a man. Imagine. But I'll use his pronouns, he and him, and I have no issue with that because to me, as Theo had mentioned earlier, it's 2022, and I don't, and not even that it's 2022. I'm married and I love him, and so why can I not say that?
You love that man.
There's no,
but you know what?
There's no reason for me to not say that in the same way in passing that someone might be sitting in an office and you just go, oh, my wife and I are going out to dinner tonight. Okay, cool. My husband and I are going out to dinner tonight. That's what I mean.
Nobody asks you that.
Right. Like, people will freely share that stuff. Or, my wife loves this.
No, sometimes I'm vague because I'm like, some of you people I wouldn't even want to be friends with. Like, you
I don't want
for
to
a living.
About me.
Leave me. Yeah. Like, I want to be vague because I want it to be a boundary. Like, you look like you eat people. I don't want to be your friend. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'd be quick to put up a boundary. Like, I don't want you to know who I'm dating or what I'm dating. Yeah. It just goes boundary.
But then, like you said, Theo, earlier, there's other times where I go into those icebreakers and I'm like, I'm going to have to stir the shit up because I already know what black.
Oh, yeah. No, an icebreaker.
Me and my boyfriend were doing this. Like, let me get this real quick because...
me and my lover.
Me and my lover. I've taken
my polygamous relationship has handled quite a bit with my two husbands.
Right? Like that's the thing is, it should just be a generalized, and it's specific. Yes, during icebreakers, but like if it's somebody like I don't mind or I like them, and I. Like, okay, well, yeah, you mentioned your spouse and okay, or you're dating, cool, or okay, me and my husband. I don't see the issue in that because
I'm going on a date. Oh, who is she? Oh, bitch, what the fuck are you saying?
Oh, right. And that's it. Oh God, that's a whole.
I'm going out on a date.
Yeah, like
it's been a while since I've gone on a date. Oh well, lucky girl. Okay, yeah, lucky girl.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'm like little.
Lucky her brother is the one that's lucky.
Little do you know. Again, boundaries, like there's things that, in certain instances, like I always say
boundaries, that
will be another episode.
That's a whole separate episode.
Yeah.
That shit has to be pulling in all this on top of a whole bunch of other boundaries for a lot of motherfuckers out there, and hopefully they're listening when
yes.
So
everyone should know.
At the end of our show right now, guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening.
I know. Thank you guys for listening, and as we always say, until next time.
Until next time.